Some of you may be aware, some of you may not be aware, that Rangers FC, a team based in Glasgow, Scotland, used to have an unwritten rule about not signing Catholic players. A quick historic background to the two main teams in Glasgow are Celtic, a team mainly supported by Irish Catholics, and Rangers, a team mainly supported by Scottish or British Protestants. As I've just said, decades ago Rangers did not sign Catholic players, whereas Celtic, though mainly supported by Catholics, did sign both Catholic and Protestant players. Rangers' unofficial stance of not signing Catholic players is best displayed in this comedy sketch.
That youngster I was telling you about, boss. Anyway, I've got him outside, so I'll bring him in. I mean, he's off a good 7 goals. What's it, 7 goals in the first half?
7 goals in the first half. Get the boy in right away. We'll sign him up without any bother. Sally tells me you scored 7 goals in the first half on Saturday.
Aye. Too bad I missed the second.
Too bad. What happened? Were you injured?
No, to go to Mass. I must be honest. I didn't think Rangers signed Catholics.
Oh, did you know? Did you know?
In fact, at the time, it just wasn't Catholic players the club didn't sign. It tended not to sign any players outside of Scotland who weren't Protestant. I.e., in basic terms, pretty much all of its players were Scottish Protestants. Even the arrival of English players such as Colin West, Chris Woods and Terry Butcher was a new phenomenon at the time. Celtic play Rangers in the first Old Firm game of the season this weekend. As you can see from these images, Rangers nowadays has a lot of players of all nationalities and faiths. Under Graham Souness, Rangers signed its first Catholic player as late as 1989, and I thought it would be interesting to play back some old documentary footage and news reports to see the reaction at the time to this signing. I hope you enjoy these clips.
Both clubs needed nothing short of a revolution to drag them into the modern age of football. Sectarianism was at its height, and on the pitch the two teams that had dominated Europe a decade earlier now couldn't even dominate the Scottish League. Going against their traditionally conservative image, it was Rangers that were first to try and stop the rot. They appointed their first manager from outside the Rangers family and brought in new players, predominantly from England, but the players themselves didn't fully realise the history they were dealing with.
My children were Catholics. My wife was a Catholic at the time, and my supporters were singing songs about killing Catholics. And the opposition were singing songs about killing Protestants, and they're glorifying murderers. Now, okay, as I said, that's something that never sat comfortable with me.
I just come from Italy and France, where I was playing with a team of Catholics, and thoroughly enjoyed their company. Lovely people, very warm people, and then all of a sudden I'm thrust into this Glasgow derby, where the religious aspect of it was very much to the fore, which I hated.
I had only one child at that time, and even at school she would, like, you know, you'd go and pick her up and you could see the mums and dads sort of talking about you behind it, and oh, that's his daughter, you know, the Protestant bee.
And it's a total culture shock. We were brought up with it, and we still never used to it. To come from England into this arena where you're talking, it's really vile stuff.
You know, I got burgled twice while I was living up there, and they found a lad, and he was a Celtic supporter.
For Souness and the English, it was join in or get out. And in his own inimitable style, Souness encouraged them to join in. Englishmen like Graham Roberts and Terry Butcher soon followed his lead, and besides a spate of red cards, they did begin to win over the fans and challenge for league championships.
Terry Butcher became a Scotsman overnight, and the supporters loved his up-and-atom style. And he, in playing terms at that time, was the main man. He was the most influential figure, an Englishman, leading the revolution.
After leading Rangers to their first title for 9 years, the Englishmen were considered full-blooded Protestants. When Celtic snatched back the championship in Souness's second year, he made the decision to break another Rangers taboo. The English players had now been accepted, but what he considered doing threatened to alienate the whole club from their core support. Bucking a century of tradition, Souness was considering buying a Roman Catholic.
I think every Rangers manager before me had been asked the question, would you sign a Catholic? And when I was asked that question, and I think it happened within the first week of me being there, I was asked the question, would you sign a Catholic for Glasgow Rangers? I said, I certainly would. I said, how can I go home every night and have dinner with my children are Catholics. So I said, you know, you ask me a question. I come to work and I'm a bigot, and then when I go home I want to be a normal person. I said, no. I said, if there's a good one comes along, I feel it's right for this club, we'll do it. And a lot of people at the time said, oh, that's the standard, you know, standard answer for every manager who's been asked that. I said, well, no, that's a fact. If there's a good one comes along, we will do it.
We had a monkey on our back, so to speak, as a club, and both Graham and I discussed it at great length, and we felt it was very necessary if we were seen to be accepted in a wider marketplace.
When it was considered that Rangers might sign the first Catholic player in their history, it was thought that to appease the fans, they should probably not choose a Glasgow Catholic.
Johnston with a header! Mo Johnston this time!
It should also definitely not be a Catholic who played for Celtic.
What about Mo Johnston scores!
And it should certainly not be a Celtic Glasgow Catholic who in 1986 had butted a Rangers player and made the sign of the cross at Ibrox as he was sent off.
If you'd have said to any Rangers fan, who's the worst Catholic that you would want to sign, it would be Morris Johnston.
But then surely it couldn't be Mo Johnston, as he had just returned from France, re-signed for Celtic, and pledged his lifelong allegiance to the club.
I've finished my career here. I don't want to play for anybody else, so I don't want any speculation about me going anywhere else. I just want to play for Celtic, and that's fine.
Celtic had paraded Morris as a future signing. They'd made him wear a Celtic strip. He was playing in France at the time. They'd got him back. They pushed him in front of cameras, which he didn't want to do, and made him wear a Celtic strip. And he was going to be a future signing. And I asked his agent if he had actually signed. He said no. I said, would he come here? He said, I think he would.
Within days of his appearance at Celtic, Mo Johnston appeared at another press conference, this time at Rangers.
Flashed on the TV screen, Morris Johnston signs for Rangers. And there was just silence, complete silence. They might have put up "War has broken out." There was just complete deathly silence. No one could believe it. They thought it was a hoax. People in the cafe seriously thought that this was a hoax. It was so unthinkable, but it happened. And right away, of course, you know, throughout the city, you saw this graffiti going up, you know, stuff about Mojo, you traitor. And I remember there was one at Belgrove Station in Glasgow that just says, collaborators will be kneecapped.
Traitor. Scumbag. I mean, words don't describe it. I wouldn't call myself a violent person, but really, that is the kind of person that makes your blood boil.
I was actually sitting in a hotel in Belfast on the 11th of July. I was over there for the Orange Walk, and so it came from a bit of a shock that they signed Mo Johnston. Yeah, that was a shocker. I had just bought my season ticket, and that season ticket is still lying in there, brand new, without a leaf taken out of it today. I've kept it as a wee souvenir, and I didn't go back.
I know Graham's been applauded in many sources by saying that this was the breaking down of the sectarian divide. I don't think it was. I just think Graham saw the opportunity to put a real big one over Celtic, and I think he took the opportunity.
And it goes to Johnston. That's a corner.
It's a rough and tumble business, and I make no secret of it. We were in the business of being number one. And if we can get any advantage at all over Celtic, who are and always will be Rangers' biggest rivals, we must, you know, at the time we had to take it. Now I saw us poaching, us signing Morris Johnston, whatever you want to call it, as dealing them an almighty blow. And I think I was correct, because it took them until last year to win the championship. And I think part of their problem was that it took them so long to get over the Morris Johnston saga.
Johnston, and he scored!
Whatever the motives for the signing of Johnston, Rangers were better off. The last wall of sectarianism had seemingly been broken down, and they were winning football games. Further to that, it coincided with the start of a run of form that would be unparalleled in Rangers history. In 1989, they won their first of what would be a series of consecutive league championships.
Oh, Boris. Wow.
Has all this surprised you about yourself?
Of course. 7 days ago, I didn't think I'd be standing here in front of you talking about Morris Johnston. You're a Rangers supporter?
Yes.
What's your reaction to Morris
I think it's
joining?
terrible.
Why is that?
Because everything's away now, innit?
What do you mean by that?
Religion and everything.
It's going to take enough abuse for everybody. No, I feel sorry for the guy.
Do you think Rangers should have signed a Catholic?
No. No, I don't think they shouldn't. They should keep to their aim.
Really delighted. As I say, there was other offers, but as I say, there's only one team I want to play for, and that's Celtic.
James, what did you think when you heard that Morris Johnston signed for Rangers?
It was a shock. No, I didn't believe it at first.
Devastated. Absolutely devastated. Totally out of question.
The manager tried to sign 2 other Catholics before me, and they actually bottled out of it when he was telling me. And I just felt somebody had to do it, and I wanted to go back to Glasgow, and all of a sudden it was Rangers I signed for.
I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're looking forward to the first Old Firm game of the season. Thanks for listening all. Many thanks. Bye.